Hello, everybody. It's Grace here at the Comfy Nest with Grace. It is Friday morning. It's 10 a.m. We're going to do a little creating. Working on the Fairy Magic Journal cover. And if you saw me the last time I worked on this, you know that I needed to reinforce the spine. So I actually have already done that, and I'll show that to you here in a second. I just want to make sure everybody can see and hear me. Okay. I've got a little note up there to fluff the nest. I would appreciate it so much if you guys would do that. That means the world to us. Spread the blessings, spread the love, however you want to say it. We appreciate your help. It's Friday. It is Friday, and that means football tonight. So I'm very excited. I'm going to do a little traveling to get down to an away football game for the first game of the senior season for these seniors, one of which is my son. So it's an exciting night for us. Let's see. I want to make sure, you guys, that you can actually see and hear me before I do much else, just in case there's something up with the feed. Let's see. Yep, there we are. All right, it's working. I'm not seeing any of you yet. All right, let's see. Oh, there's Phyllis. Well, good morning, Phyllis. Thanks for saying hello. I appreciate you. All right, so should I show you what I got? I pulled out, you can see, a bunch of embellishments. One of you, actually, I don't remember who it was, but sent me this. And you guys, it matches this cover so well. So I may be using that. I've got some lace. I've got some doilies. I've got some fabric and burlap. I don't know yet which way I'm going to go. I most likely will use the matte gel medium to affix this stuff on here. I also pulled these because I'm going to try to decorate the front of this, and it's a fairy journal, and these are fairy postcards, which I really love that one that's right on the top. Oh, good gravy. I love that one too. Let's put that one second from the top. I'm just going to take a quick peek because these are just darling, aren't they? I got these on Amazon. I'm kind of liking the yellow for some reason. Stick that one up. Oh, she's beautiful too, though. Okay, we have a couple of good options. We'll worry about this later because this will be one of the last things that we do. I just wanted to show you, like, I've started to gather up the stuff that may be needed for this journal. Now, the kit itself, okay, I have my box right here. Of course, there's like a gazillion things on top of it. Hold on, girls. I'm right here. I'm like, my box is right here, but I got all these papers on top of it from another project that I'm working on. I am the person who has like 6 projects going at once. I don't finish a project and then start a new one. I start a new one just because I want to finish them all when I get to them. So this is the chipboard that I used on the outside of this book to fortify the binding, this spine, because it was very flimsy. It felt very flimsy, but now it's a lot stiffer. You can see that. And I've got this thick chipboard, but I'm going to cover that up. Obviously, that's why I have all the fabrics and the lace and the doilies. There is a fabric cover on it already. I used this like green fabric that I had on hand. It's like a earthy green color, which really matches much of this. The book itself has lots of green base in it. I also have still in my bin, I have lots of leftovers from this kit like that. Could be really pretty on the cover. So for the cover itself, I'm not going to worry about what the focal point will be yet. I have the postcards, I have these leftovers, and of course, I have the digital kit. So if there is something that I used inside the book, for example, if there's something I used inside the book that I want another printout of it, I can just go and print it out. Again, that's the beauty of having a printable kit. Anyway, I've got my entire bin here for this project, which once it's completed, I can empty this bin out. That's really cool too, you guys. This is like primed chipboard that's lattice work, and that could be really pretty on there. So many options. So many options. It was stormy last night for us, Shauna. It was so stormy. We had rain like we have not had in a long time. I know. Phyllis, all these things that I show you, it is really a hard choice, isn't it? Good morning, Missy. Hey, Janet. How are you? Denise is here. Marilyn is here from Central Washington State. Welcome, welcome, friend. So glad you're here. All right, so this is nice and secure. I'm really happy about this. So other thing that I need to think about, my first order of business will be to cover this spine, cover my cardboard that's there to reinforce, and then to decorate this part of it. But I may also want to put some kind of ribbon or fastener on it, which I've not done yet. Totally fine. Let me think here. I could put the fastener behind whatever I do on the spine and glue it down that way. So that means, thinking through this a little bit, that means picking out, so I have this little box with all my ribbons, picking out a ribbon that makes sense for covering the spine. I am thinking like a cream, you know, like brown would work, except it's awfully dark, right? So I'm thinking more like if I go with lace or doily or one of these colors, something that matches that. So I have a couple of wide satin cream. And satin, these like satin ribbons are so nice because they're so soft and they're easy to work with. But what I'm thinking is I could glue this down to the cover before I put on the decorative part here. If I glue it down, then I'll have this available to me later for tying it. Now, I'm a huge fan of a tie that goes in the front, like here, where you'd have a little ribbon right here. I love that so much. I just think it's so pretty, right? To have a little bow right there. It makes it look like a present to me. But you could also tie it so that it's tied right at the mouth, like right where the opening is, right here. I like it in the front. And the only thing that would matter about that is if you would need more ribbon on one side than the other when you glue it down. Okay, so first of all, let me cut this off of the spool here. So think about your closure before you finish your cover. And for me, that's hard to do because I usually do the inside first and then the outside, then the cover last. So, like, see, if I wanted to tie this here, do you see how one is shorter than the other? If I want to tie it in the front, oh, I need a little bit longer on this side, right? Just a little bit, not much. Testing it out. If I want to tie it here, I want, when I do the bow part, the little pretty little bow, I want the tails to be even, right? I want them to be the same length. It's cute when it's like that. That would work. So I could glue this down right now. That way, when I come in with the next decorative part, it's underneath there and it's just embedded into the cover, right? So why not do it? Like, let's just do it. I know I like it like that. I don't like them too lengthy. Then you have to decide too, do you want it a little lower than center? I usually do just a tish lower than center, or do you want it dead center, like right in the middle? You have to commit eventually. So say I was to take this, and this was my cover. it would be like that, right? So if I wanted it just a little lower, I usually go just low to center. Even when I do canvas panels on the wall, I usually do my things just low to center. Like that would be really pretty if she ended up being the cover, right? So I'm good with that. I'm good with that. And I'm going to glue, because I know for sure, first of all, before I lose my spot, I'm going to take a piece of washi tape and tape that there, because I know I like this spot, right? Now, before I glue this down, what was I going to say to you? Lost my train of thought. I forget what I was going to say. I guess it doesn't really matter. Hey, Christina. Hello, Miss Dina. Designs by Dina, my friend. How are you? How are you? You have a floppy book, Trisha? My book was floppy. You saw it the other day. It was floppy. We needed to reinforce. I used the chipboard. You know, I sell this in the shop. I used a chipboard piece, nice and thick, nice and sturdy. It's thicker than, okay, the book cover originally is a cereal box, and it was too flimsy for the weight of what we built into the book, which I'm absolutely loving. You guys, I'm intent on selling this one. I think I'm going to do an auction next week or the week after, so stay tuned for that. But I'm intent on selling this one just because you can't keep them all. Like you just only have so much room. But the more I work on it, the more I love it. It's hard to let go of them when they're so pretty. Anyway, cereal box cover that got a little too flimsy once we started filling it because there's so many added things on the inside. So I used the chipboard, which is much thicker, to create a solid, reinforcement for the spine. So I did that off camera. I started to record it, and then I thought, Grace, it's just so much faster if you just get her done. So that's what I did. So yes, you can reinforce, Trisha, with something sturdy and heavy, thicker than, for this one, I needed something thicker than the cereal box that I started with. Okay, I'm going to glue this down. I need to peek some glue underneath here. So that's what I'm going to do. I don't use hot glue. I know there are some people who like to use hot glue on their covers, but I'm just not a fan. I don't even have my hot glue gun out anymore. I use it infrequently. I like to rely on my regular old craft glues. All right. It's okay that this is thick because this is all getting covered with something decorative. So I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to let that dry. If I can get this one piece to glue down well, then I can glue the rest of it down in place. Okay, I've got my tape there just holding it in place so I don't lose my spot, so it doesn't shimmy up and down. I usually like to glue the ribbon a little bit into the cover. That way it really stays in place and it's really solidly glued down. While that's drying, let's figure out, I gotta figure out how am I going to cover this thing. I do have this really pretty lace. I don't think it's quite big enough to cover. Plus, I don't want to see this strip of cardstock at all, the chipboard. So that's why I pulled this out, thinking I could take a strip of this fabric and just cover like this. So what we see underneath our lace or doily is going to be fabric. Okay, so I think that's what I need to do. I only need a small strip of it. I don't need a huge chunk. It's going to be this long. Hold on, Gracie. It's going to be that long, and it needs to be, maybe that wide. Do you see how technical I am about that? That long and that wide. Oh, geez. This is the place to come if you're really just like totally relaxed about these things, or if you want to learn to be totally relaxed about these things. I do not stress about measurements. I just kind of eyeball things and wing it, and it always works. and it's a much more relaxed way to create. Okay, so now let's see. Oh, wait, wrong way. Is this going to be thick enough? I would normally like finger press one spot really hard right there so you get that little crease. Then I know that's the center of this chunk of fabric and it's going to get glued down. You see how it's going to get glued down over. You guys, wouldn't it be a riot if this was like not right side up? I do that stuff all the time. I think it is right side up, but okay. I got to get down to gluing everything in place. I'm just putting one little strip of wet glue behind this ribbon before we glue down this. Now, honestly, I was going to use my matte gel medium, but I realized I had this on hand. It's fabric glue from E6000 and it's been working real well. The only thing is I better test before I use it on here. I want to test this to see if the glue is going to show from behind. I don't want the glue to show. This will dry. I know that this is going to dry completely clear. I'm not so sure on this one. Permanent washable. It says it's clear. But girls, I feel like I would feel better if we test it. So let's take a strip of what we're gluing it down onto and a little strip of our fabric, and we're going to do a little test over here because I do not want glue that's showing. All right, so let's just do this. Let's do our little lab test right here. Okay, so far it's showing. So now we got to give it a hot minute to dry and see if it dries completely clear, if it's going to leave these wet marks. They look like little piddle marks on a carpet. If you have pets, you know what I mean. All right, let's just let that sit there. While that's sitting there, let us figure out, we can envision, we're not going to glue it down yet because I don't know what I'm going to use. I want the, okay, I tore this side so it has that beautiful fray on it. This side I did not tear, so it doesn't have a fray. I want fray. So I'm going to try to tear the skinniest piece I can off here. Oh, it's not going to let me. It's too skinny. I might have to cut another one. I do not want, I like the fray. Mama likes me some fray. I like things to look shabby and messy. That will not go to waste. In fact, there may be a tag inside here that we could put that on. Let's see if it's still long enough. Yep. Oh, maybe not. Can we stretch it? Can we stretch it and make it work, girls? You know what, actually, I'm thinking about, so what I was going to do while I was waiting for this test to dry is figure out the rest of the design. So I was thinking this really pretty cord that one of you sent me that has some gold on it. I think I'm going to line this up right on that edge where this meets. I didn't even need to, I guess I didn't have to worry about my fringe then, did I? I think I would just do it on the front though. So on the back, let's make sure, let's put the prettier side on the side that's going to be exposed. And let's make sure that this side gets full coverage of the cardboard. And then the other side, if it falls just a tish short, which it does if I go like that, it falls just a little bit short. Just a little bit. But that will be okay because I want to cover it with this beauty. It just makes this really masculine fabric that's on the base. It just really dresses it up and makes it so pretty. And then say, I'm trying to envision, it would be something like that. Gorgeous. Now, I thought I had, if I went even lower with her, I would have room up here for some kind of phrase or wording or something. So I'm going to look through, so it's all about figuring it out before you start gluing stuff down. I'm going to look through my bin because I thought that this kit had a little word that I could use. See what we have left. You like the look, Phyllis? It's different than a lot of things that I do. But there's a little tag that could use that little piece of fabric. No, we're not going to throw it out because we'll find something for it. I thought I had something that said fairy. Did I already use it? I used it I think. Girls, I think I already used it. Which means if I really wanted another word, I could go back to the original kit. I think I used it in here. Let's look. Gives us a quick flip through. This page, I'm loving the way this page turned out, girls. With the two little tags. Okay, my little purple heart under there. And then we still have this space here as another spot. Oh, this said fairy magic on it. But I thought that I had just the word fairy magic. Here it is, fairy tale. So I could go back to my printables and reprint that out if I wanted to use it on the front here, on the front cover. I think she's going to end up there. I could cut her down so that it's a little bit smaller on that front cover, but I think I'm pretty excited about this design, the way it's turning out. So I'm going to cut this and get it ready. We're still waiting for this stinker to dry to see if that's going to dry without any markings. Hey, Gina. Oh, Gina, yeah, I've been working on this book it's been a couple of months now. It's almost done. I'm really excited about it. And before I put it up for sale in the auction, I will definitely give you guys a nice flip through. I'll give you a flip through at the auction. I'm thinking about an auction next Friday, but I reserve the right to change the date. So just stay tuned. Make sure you're on the Telegram channel so you're getting notifications. I think that the way that this frayed, I think I'm going to cut it right at its widest part. There's a little piece of tape there too. Kind of hard to get the tape off of it without fraying it if you haven't used fray check. So let's cut this at the widest point. Oops. And then maybe that's where we're going to start. Instead of at the shortest point, we're going to start at the widest point to widest point of one of these little designs. And that would mean I'm cutting it right here. So whoever gifted that to me long ago, thank you, thank you. It's coming into good use today. Oh, geez Louise, where's the rest of that bag? Where did I put it, girls? I like to put things back where they came from. Figure it out later. So that's going to go right there. That'll be so pretty. Hey, Dana Graham, don't apologize. We're just happy you're here. This is the Fairy Magic Kit. Thanks, Denise. Yeah, this was the first Junk Journal Jamboree that I participated in. This was the kit that we used in June, the Fairy Magic Kit. We got it from an Etsy store. I don't remember the name of the design. No, excuse me. Hang tight. Hold on, girls. Let me see. No, this one is from My Porch Prints. This is not from Junk Journal Jamboree. This is a My Porch Print Fairy Magic Journal Kit. So if you go to Etsy and you look for printable journal kits, this one will show up. It's really beautiful. As you can see, I didn't end up using any of these. That's okay. That's okay, isn't it? It's the beauty of making your own. You get to customize. All right, I think I need to force some heat on this and get it to dry a little faster so we can... I really could just use my liquid matte gel medium. That takes a long time to dry too, though. So that's why I was avoiding it, but it really does work, and I know that it dries clear. Let's just test this out a little bit. So what's up for your creative weekend? Who's creating this weekend? What are you up to? Who's going yard sailing? You know, where we live up in North Dakota, we have a very short window of opportunity to do the yard sales because summer is it. I mean, it's cold a lot of months. Like I'd say 8 months out of the year, it's cold here. So we only have a few months for yard sailing. So you in North Dakota, if you're like in the northern states and you're like, oh my gosh, fall is coming, which means it's the end of the yard sale season for us. Are you doing the yard sales this weekend? What are you up to? Are you creating? Are you crafting? Do you have family stuff going on? Hey, Pat, welcome, welcome. I have an inkjet printer. Virginia, just a color printer. I would say go with one that has like the cheapest ink options available. I have an HP and I pay a monthly fee, and it tracks the amount of ink in my printer according to my HP account, and it sends me ink automatically when my printer is low on ink, which I love, because inevitably what happens is things start to go wonky with the color, and then I realize, oh man, I'm out of ink, and then by the time I order it and it comes in, I'm really out of ink and my colors are all distorted. Dana's going to go to yard sales this weekend, and she's having she has a crafting event, then Sunday church and a birthday party. Dana, you have a full weekend, girl. That is awesome. Okay, girls, it feels fairly dry, but do you see? I don't want that. And I know that will not happen with the matte gel medium. So we're going to use the matte gel medium. It's just the way it's going to be. My trusty old friend. Okay, I can put this aside, although, just real quick, I have these two little sweet doilies. And is it too much? I was thinking, I just love the doily on here so much, you guys. I have the big ones. These are going to be in a sale too coming up. Hold on. Let me grab my bin. Oh, God. If you could see this room, girls. If you could see this room, I think it would make you feel better about your own space. It's one of those things. Okay. I have so many doilies, things that are going to be going into sales, either on the website or, look at how pretty, or in the auction. And I was thinking that, well, you can tell me what you think. This fits so perfectly, and the color is just so beautiful for this. I just think, but then I was also thinking it might be pretty to do a doily somehow on the cover. And so this reminds me of the altered book we did in the Craft Therapy Club. Hold on. I'm going to try to grab it. Show you another version of using a doily on your book cover. So it's along these lines. So I cut this doily. I cut a chunk of it off and put it here on Lovely Lena. And then the rest of it went here. And I used the matte gel medium to hold it on there. And you can see it holds up really well. But along those same lines, I was thinking a doily would be so pretty on the cover. I can't use both the doily and the other thing though. So I think I have to use this. It just matches so well, right? Then when I found this little one, I thought, well, if I do this, maybe underneath there. No, it's just too much in my eye. It's just too much for my eye. So no doily today. And I did pull out this because it's gorgeous and it's really wide and beautiful. But again, you can't have it all. Like, that's even too much for me. It's just a matter of what your, oh, I have this one too. Of what you think looks pretty. That's the beauty of making your own, for sure, is you get to decide how lacy you want to be, how ornate you want to be. Okay, I guess my job right now is to cover this with this. And we are going to use the matte gel medium. It's going to get real wet in here. It's going to get real wet because the matte gel medium it's a gel, but it's still very goopy. That's why it works as a glue so well. All right, I can still see my little finger press of my middle. But I need to make sure that it's more important that that get covered completely. So maybe I should start here, because there's nothing coming on back here. I did not plan to put a strip of this on the back. I guess if I had to, if I have a mistake, I could cover up any mistake with it. And then on the front, if I have a little cardboard showing, it's going to be okay because I have that really pretty decorative piece. So I guess we're gluing this side first. Okay, let's see. I don't think I want to use a brush. I think I'm going to use this little silicone tool. No doily, Pat says. Yeah, I'm with you on that. Yeah, Denise says just the strip. No doily, Phyllis says. Yeah, it's too much, right? Hey, Teresa Lashenko, I see you. I feel like it's too much too. I need little doilies. Dana says, well, stay tuned. In my shop, I have a lot of, I'm going to do fabric bundles. I have a plan for fabric bundles and these doilies in the shop or in the auction coming up, because I just have a lot of stuff and it would be nice to share it with people who can use it. There's no sense in it sitting in my cupboard and not getting used. There's just no sense to it. You don't have to be all precious about this. Just get the glue on there, girls. Just get it on. Okay, now I do want, it will dry clear, so I don't have to worry if it oozes out past the point of where I want it. That's okay, because it's not going to hurt anything. It's not going to show. I know this for a fact. I've been using this stuff for years. I do want it to go just beyond the cardboard because I want that fabric to glue down to that point right there. So see, I'm going just beyond that cardboard. All right. It's a lot of glue. It's a lot, but it's going to hold it down nicely. With this stuff, though, I will say your fabric pieces, your textiles, when you use this stuff, it's beautiful. It'll dry completely clear. You won't even see it. And this stuff will glue down. It'll hold down metal embellishments. It'll hold down a lot of stuff on your book covers or on any project you're using. It's great for mixed media. I will tell you this, with textiles, it does change the feel. So it's going to feel more like a paper mache project when it's all said and done. Because I don't know why, it just changes the feel of that fabric. Is not going to be so soft. Now, I don't want to drag this real hard because it's going to move the fabric, but I do want to push it down in a way that it's really solidly in that glue. So that's what I'm going to do. Okay, now we're going to come around. I need to add fabric to the spine, or excuse me, glue, matte gel medium. Yes, I do. I got your email, Sparky, about Chris asked me, or she asked me in an email. I think it was an email, not a private message. I haven't answered you yet, but I did get it. So I'm sorry about that. Asking me to show you how to use grommets and eyelets. I just used one on a cover recently, but I guess I just didn't stop and teach you how to do it. I sure could. I just haven't had time to do that in the last few days with the start of school and all that with the kids. Start of football. I can't believe it. Signing up for all these college classes, AP classes, dual credit classes for the kids. It's been a busy week. Last week and this week, just getting them going. And I can't believe the first week of school is already over. I can't even get over it. I really want to gob that glue in there. I want to make sure it really is on there so we're not leaving anything undone here. Okay. There we go. I think we're good. We're going to wrap it around. I am going to pull a little bit because I want it to be taut. I don't want to stretch anything. It's all still wet. So if you pull too hard, you'll pull it right off still. It's still wet. But I do need to make sure that this makes contact. And again, I don't want to pull on the fabric. This is nice and flat. It's flatter than my fingers can be, so it'll make sure that that fabric is touching that square, flat piece of cardstock chipboard and really making contact with the glue. Okay, we got that. Now we have to get this front done. This is kind of wet, so my table cover is plastic. I can put this down and confidently know I'll get it back up. If you have a paper tablecloth or if you have a wood table, you might want to put down a like a piece of wax paper or a silicone mat or a craft mat, one of those heat resistant craft mats, the Teflon ones. I do sell those in the shop too at thecomfynestwithgrace.com. That would be in the decoupage section. But something that would make sure that your glue doesn't stick to your table and your project doesn't stick to the table. Also, when you're drying it, make sure that you dry it so that it's not touching anything in the time that you leave it alone to dry, the glue, because you don't want it sticking to whatever it's touching, whether it be a table, a piece of paper. Just be very careful about that. Okay. Taut, but not stretch. I don't want to stretch it out. Okay, so again, with the card, just I'm pushing down with the flatness of the card, helping me make sure that it's making contact all along the way. Okay. So we could actually, at this same time, glue down. Okay, see how much longer this ribbon is? There's the end of this ribbon, and there's the end of this ribbon, because I want to tie it in the front. So just think that through before you do it. Okay, to glue down this guy, I can absolutely use this gel medium. It'll work just fine, just the same. So I'm going to put it on the back of this pretty little. I could use a liquid glue. I could use my art glitter glue. I think that would work fine too. I'm not going to glue down the edges of the wide parts, the frilly parts of this. I'm just getting it on the, can you see? I'm just trying to get it on this center part because I like 3D stuff. I like things to kind of have movement and be 3D. If you want it completely flat and stiff, you would put the glue all over the whole thing. This will come through. If you have like a piece of lace, this stuff works great for lace, or like that spooky webbing that you can get at the Dollar Tree this time of year for Halloween. That black and cream colored webbing. Looks like really open cheesecloth. This stuff will glue that down beautifully. If you remember our spooky junk journal last year, I did a couple of Halloween journals with that creepy web netting that they sell at the Dollar Tree. And the stuff will come through where it's really wide. The glue will come through. So what I like to do is just, first of all, press it down into place. Make sure it's where you want it before it dries. And then anything that comes up, you can use like a clean paintbrush with nothing on it, or you can use your finger, or you can use a paper towel and get any excess off. But honestly, you won't even see it. It will dry clear and it'll dry matte. So you don't have to worry too much about this stuff leaving any marks. Okay. So far, so good, right? I like this. You could glue this down like even further if you wanted, and you could, like, nothing's going to happen back here with this tie. So I could, and I have done that before, where I glue this down all the way to the close to the edge here, so it really stays in place. Totally up to you. It's not hurting anything. It's going to stay in place. It's underneath all this stuff, so it will definitely stay in place. It's not going to come off of your book when you glue it underneath something else on the spine or on the cover. Oh, Denise, she says senior year goes by so fast for mom. Suck up every moment. Oh, goodness gracious. Yes, it's so true. They have been jam-packed, Sparky. They really have. I have not forgotten about your request, though, for sure. Yes, Sparky, she said epic failure on her first try at using the eyelets and stuff. So don't stress. I'll do a little walkthrough at some point. Maybe I'll just do a little quick video. I don't know. I'll figure it out for you, dear. We'll get something out there to show you how you really do need to kind of know which way to position the eyelets and your project when you do that. But it's totally doable. Actually, I put this in a thing of water, and I don't think I want to leave it there. So I better clean it off right away. Okay. Didn't end up using the burlap. That's okay. Oh, I forgot I have this chipboard, right? Let's play with this for a minute, just for a minute. Okay, so my plan, and I may cut this down to be a little smaller. Like, I don't need all that white frame space behind it. I want to get that comment up out there. Thanks, Lisa. She says this is looking lovely. Why, thank you, my friend. But like something like this, we don't have to use the whole thing. We could just use part of it as like an extra dimensional element on your book cover. And we could paint it. It would be really pretty painted gold. I'm kind of a simple girl. I think I'm going to cut this down right away. This is still drying. So I'm going to cut that down. And while I'm doing that, I'm just going to let that sit up and not touch anything for a few minutes. So let's just cut this down a little bit. I think I would like it if it weren't so taking up so much of the cover. I'm just going to cut a tish. Now it looks really long and skinny. I better take off a little bit more off the top and or bottom. It's the same shape as the cover, but you see, it's just maybe too tall and skinny for me. I like it a little bit more narrow. I think I'm going to take a little bit more off the top. When I was cutting before, everything that I cut off before was just like off-white. There was no design element on it. There's like nothing design-wise on those chunks, those pieces. Now we're getting more into the watercolor background if I cut more. If I cut more here, I'm getting into the, like, what is the ground that she's standing on, and I don't want that. But you can see there's a white line there. It looks a little dreamy. If I cut off that edge right there, it's going to take away that dreaminess, and her wing's just going to look cut off. So I'm not going to cut anything off the left and right, but I think I'm going to take just a little bit more off the top here. Sliver. We're doing like a sliver at a time until you feel like, yep, that's the way I want it. It's a small change, but for sure, like if I wanted to put, remember I had grabbed these things, this little door pull would be really cute on the cover of this. So it looks like a door. But now that I have the ribbon, maybe not with the door pull, although that is such a great little element to add to your covers. This thing, it's like a little label placard, and we could use this. And you know what I might do is, I think I've cut that down to where I want it. What I might do on this, I'm not going to own it, I'm going to sell it. But maybe what I could do is put 2023 on there and just make it part of the cover somehow. And see this metal embellishment? This is what I was talking about. This will glue this down beautifully. And you know it's not going to go anywhere. But this is still drying, so I'm not going to do a whole lot until that drying is done. But I'm still trying to envision how to design the front. And I am super visual, you guys. See, to the point where, oh, let's recreate this bow. How exactly is this going to look? Well, I'm not going to know until I recreate my bow. I think I like her a little bit lower. But I could put this on the lower bottom with 2023, or I could put this up here and let it be like the right above her. It's really blending in here. So what I would do with this, because the color just blends right in, there'll be a little white piece of paper in the back. So that will make it easier to see because we'll put something in there. Actually, that looks really cute in there. I could either stamp 2023 or handwrite it, but to make this stand out a little, I actually could use some of my waxes, and I'll probably just highlight these with a little bit of metallic wax to make it brighter. You could also use, like, if you had a silver metallic paint, you could just put a little bit on your finger and touch on that to make it show up more. Now I have gold on the front, so I better stick with the brass or the gold, but I'm thinking something like that. Should I round these corners or leave them square? What do you think? Thanks, Sparky. Watching real fast on my break. Well, Cheryl, we're glad you're here. Hello, hello. Yes, Trisha, I do like the scoreboard. I do like it. The handle is a little cumbersome. I'm going to admit, just for me, that handle, that big chunky handle, it's a little cumbersome. And these are not cheap. Let me just say that too. This replacement blade, it's not cheap. It doesn't come in packs of 2. You only get one at a time. And it was like $8 or $9, you guys. If I had known that before I bought this board, I probably wouldn't have bought it, truthfully. So I do like the scoring / cut board. I do like that it folds in half so that it's smaller. It was hard for me to get used to it. I've cut myself several times with this big cumbersome thing. So this is probably my least favorite thing about this board, to be truthful with you. I do love the big numbers, but this has been cumbersome to get used to, and they're expensive. Just FYI. I'm just mentioning it. I'm always be totally honest with you guys. Okay, I got to let this thing dry before I do anything else. I am going to keep this with this. We could do something with this right now. But right now, let's take this out of here. And I really feel strongly I need to leave this alone and just let it sit upright over here so that it dries and I'm not messing anything up. Give it time to dry on its own. It's still very wet. Okay, I'm looking for my wax. Just hang tight, girls. I have rearranged so many things in this room. I've reorganized my stuff. I'm using my bins, which is great. And I know I put my wax in a bin. Here it is. Glitter, fillers, and wax in one of these bins. So let me grab this. And see what color wax might be best so that this shows up better. I think let's see if the gold, I have Rub and Buff. I don't know how much brighter that's going to make that because this is already bronze and my Rub and Buff is bronze. So let's see if the gold, do I have 2 Rub and Buffs? I have silver and I have gold, or a bronzy color. Let's just see if this one's the right one. See, this one's much brighter. Yeah. Yep, you can see it already. Hang tight. Let me get something that maybe you can see it better on. So I did this top part. It is much brighter, and it matches that cord so much better. So let's get this done, and while my heavy-duty glue is drying, we can let this gold wax also cure. Whoa, that's way better. I know it seems subtle, but it is brightening it up tremendously. I actually want to save this plastic to use for something, so I don't want to use that. Let me get something else to do this on. Just a piece of scrap paper from yesterday when we did our ATC cards. All right, girls. Wow. Big difference. I'm going to show you like something like that. Do you see how dark it is? When you take one of these waxes and you just come around, it brightens it up so much. If you have these like bronzy colored accents for your books, grab yourself some wax. This is one of the ones I sell in my store. It's Gold Wax Paste by Pentart. It's a little jar, but it'll last you a long time. And I just use one of these foam finger dauber things that you use for your distress pads. You can use your finger, it just gets messy, but it helps to brighten up. And you can use it on paper. I mean, you don't have to just use it on metal. It's going to have a different look, but you can use it on paper, and you can see it does really have a metallic sheen to it. You can use it on wood, you can use it on paper, you can use it on so many things. So why not? I already had it out. I'm not using this pole for this project, but I have a whole bag of these poles and they're bronzy. So, well, might as well make one gold while we have everything out. And it's just sitting here. It's a good demonstration of how beautiful that wax is. All right, this is going to be so much better. It's going to show up so much better. I just put those little Dollar Tree Velcro circles on there, and that's how I keep the right dauber with the right wax in my container. Just makes it easy for me to keep track of my daubers. Okay, now, just real quick. See, you can see it so much better than you could before. It'll be ready to go. We're gonna let these dry though. There I am. It does make it pop, right? But it still looks like really natural for a metal embellishment, that color. Like I said, if you have gold paint, you likely can do the same thing with gold paint. You're just going to want to put a little bit of it on your finger, because, you know, gold paint is going to be more liquidy. And maybe on a piece of paper or cardboard, just, you know, try that gold paint on your finger and see how it's spreading before you go in on your embellishment. But I suppose you could just take a paintbrush to that with gold paint too. Thanks, Pat. I appreciate that comment. Sparky says, genius girl. The Velcro, right? Those are those tiny little cheap, like inexpensive Velcro fasteners from the Dollar Tree. They work really well for just keeping things together that you don't want separated. Makes a big difference. I think so too, Trisha. Oh no. Sparky says, when it comes to getting cut, I'm a pro at it. I must have cut myself 3 times in 1 week with that darn blade. I guess it took a few times for me to learn, like, don't do that again, Gracie. Trisha says, I agree on the handle. Oh, you have the same one, Trisha. She said, I cut myself 2 times the first week. It does make it harder to store, and it's chunky. And you know what I have not figured out, Trisha? Actually, I had not even thought about it before now. You can't use, the way that this is designed, you can't use the traditional paper trimmer blades with this. Because if I could, I would slip one of those on here instead. I thought I would love this. It is my least favorite part about this board. I do really love the big numbers, though. I will say that. But this thing is, the replacement blades are expensive, unfortunately. No, and Sue, you can't. So she just asked that question. Can you use a smaller blade? No, not that I can see. Sparky uses those too, she says, the little Velcros. They're so easy. So easy. All right, girls. So listen to this. Today, first football game of the season. I got my Firebird shirt on, my new Firebird shirt. Cute, right? And it's an away game. It's 3.5 hours away. So I'm driving down 3.5 hours away for a football game. I grew up in New England, and this stuff was unheard of. You went a town away. You did not go 3.5 hours away. 3.5 hours away, I would be in New York. I would be in northern New Hampshire, Vermont, or Maine. I grew up in Massachusetts, Boston. You would have gone plumb through Rhode Island, all the way through Connecticut, and into New York, probably 3.5 hours. Hartford's 3 hours away from Boston. This 3.5 hours away blows my mind because I'll be on the road for like 7 hours today. I'll still do it. It's a senior year and still going. It's crazy though. It's crazy to me. Hello, Anne from Northern Ireland. Welcome, welcome, my friend. Yeah, so this is turning out great. I'm really excited about it. Let's get this up here. I'll show you one more time. The back looks like this right now. This does not say we can't put another strip of that, but I feel like the front should be more special than the back. So I don't generally do a whole lot of over designing on the back of my books, but on the front, this will end up here. I think this one, I haven't decided, and I don't have to decide yet because I have that whole box full of cards. Any one of them could go on the front. And actually, I think I will end up putting, this is going to go on the front, and I'll probably put the year 2023. And then I'll probably put the gold little corner covers on here. In fact, I could grab those out now. So this is coming along really nicely. Let's see about the gold corner covers if I can find them quick. I haven't ruled it out yet, but let's just see about, are they in here? No, but that's where those like brass, this box has the brass covers. I haven't ruled out danglies yet. Well, this I know I'm not using. Where are you, little guy? I know I'm not using the little door pull, as cute as it is, so I can put that back in here with the others. This is not where my covers are. My corners. Here they are. I found them. Put everything away, but danglies would be really cute too. I could put, I have an appropriate kind of little dangly, like a key would be cute. Dangling off the edge there. And actually, fairy makes me think woodsy. So maybe some wood beads with a key. That'll be, I'm going to keep the key out just to remind me that maybe that's something I want to do. Oh, I have a little timepiece. A little clock. Those could be really cute, dangling off the edge here. We may do danglies on this one. This book is turning out to be super special. Okay. All these little details, they add up so much. Okay, and actually, this is going to go on the front eventually. It's kind of gold. This is kind of an orangey gold. This is a really bright gold. So I don't think that. I think maybe this, particularly if I'm going to do the keys on the edge. So I think these, I'm going to need 4 of these because I will do the front and back. Sometimes I only do the front, but I think this book is going to want front and back little metal corner covers to keep them protected. Again, you could take your wax. I don't want to though. I don't like things too super matchy, but if you do, I could take that same wax that I used on this embellishment and put it on these so they're not so bronzy. But since the gold that's on this cording isn't perfectly matched to this, I'm not going to perfectly match this to this. Let's keep them all a little bit different. And it looks woodsy and rustic, particularly with the key and the timepiece if we end up using those. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited about it. We gotta let the glue dry, girl. So we gotta let the glue dry. Oh, a bookmarker with dangles. That's a cute idea. The clock and the key together. I think those need to go maybe on the edge here, just on the spine. Now, I hid my threads. Now, if you remember, hold on, let me give an example. This is the book that we made in the Make a Junk Journal Start to Finish workshop. Here are the threads for sewing the pages in, right? Well, my book cover was kind of feeling flimsy. It needed to be reinforced. So I glued a piece of cardstock chipboard over that, and I scored it what I did with that little piece, I scored the edges where the fold is, and then I folded it down so that it went down over the edge, like you saw in the beginning of this video. Um, so that covered up all of my binding cords, which I usually like them exposed, but I just felt like I had to do it to give this book a little more strength. So now that those are hidden away, these really could be cute dangling off the end here. So I'll have to figure that out. But first we got to let everything dry. All right, girls, I got to go because I got to get a few things done. There is a huge VIP sale, flash sale, all week long. Every single day I have been de-stashing my Chalk Couture stash. I have a lot of stuff, girls, and it's time for it to go into somebody else's home who can use it. I have seasonal stuff. I have some Halloween stuff. I've got fall stuff. I've got Christmas stuff. I've got summer stuff too. But this includes surfaces, pastes, and lots of transfers, all in my VIP Chalk Couture group, which is specifically for Chalk Couture. You cannot see the discounts unless you're a member of the group. The group is free to belong to. As long as you're not a designer, you can get in that group and you can shop my store, shop my sale this week. But that's going on and it's been busy. I have posted something Monday through Friday every single day. I think I will also have something to post tomorrow, and then officially the sale will probably be closed and then I'll start invoicing everybody. So if you haven't gotten into that group, look for my VIP Chalk Couture group or ask me for the link. I'll get you in there. But that's been busy. So I'm going to work on that stuff a little bit more today before I head out the door for the big football game. So you guys have a beautiful, blessed weekend. I will catch you later. Thanks for being here with me.